All right, hey everyone. Today we're going to talk about special segments in triangles. So first we're going to start with some vocabulary. All right, the first word is median. So median is when it connects a vertex to the midpoint of the opposite side. So in this case, let's zoom in. The vertex is here and the midpoint is here. So therefore, you can see these are equal in lengths. So an example would be CM is right here, is congruent to EM, which is here. So they are the same length. That's a midpoint. Next up is altitude. So the altitude connects a vertex to the opposite side with a perpendicular line, creating a right angle. Remember, right angles are 90 degrees. So let's check that. So vertex here to the opposite side here, and it creates 90-degree angle that you see right here. Then we have perpendicular bisector. So perpendicular means it forms a right angle, 90 degrees. You see that right here. Line bisects, so bisects means it goes through the midpoint, form a side. So right here, this line is the midpoint, so you see this side is equivalent to this side. So CM is the same length as EM, and it forms 90 degrees. All right, next up, we have an angle bisector. For an angle bisector, it connects the vertex to the opposite side, so the angle is bisected. And remember, it's cut in half, or you have two equal parts. So the vertex is right here to the opposite side, which is here. So this is the same as that. So angle CDB, and you have to read it in that order, CDB is congruent to EDB. So EDB right here. So that's some vocab. So now let's go ahead and let's try these out. Oops, random line there. All right, so we're going to determine which special segment is shown for each. So here we've got a vertex, and then it goes here. Well, I don't know if these are the same length or not, but I do see this. So I've got a vertex, I've got a 90-degree angle, so let's figure out which one this is, and that should be the altitude right here. All right, this one has a vertex and it goes here, but it's focused on these angles. So this is going to be something that cuts the angles. So I would actually go with angle bisector, because that means you've got this side equal to that side. So this would be angle bisector. Okay. Now I want you to try this last one on this page. So again, it's not a vertex, but we do have this here, and we've got the here and here. So if you're listening, this should be a perpendicular bisector if you did this correctly. All right, let's go over and let's check some of these other ones out. We got number 4. Now number 4, I've got a vertex and I've got 2 equal parts. So if you looked correctly at your vocab, it should be median. All right, I want you to try this one, and we'll go over that in class. All right, so now let's go ahead to this part with the examples. So you're going to label all congruent angles, congruent sides, or right angles on the diagram. So BD is the median. So BD is right here. Write the equation you would use to solve for x. So remember, for median, the median says that it's going to be congruent. So that means this side is congruent to this side. So you're going to set this up as 6x plus 3, equals 7x minus 1. Because remember, median is the middle point, so these two are equal in length. All right, so go ahead, solve, and you should subtract 6x, add 1, and x equals 4. All right, and then for this one, it says BD is an altitude. So for altitude, your hint is you make a 90-degree angle. So you're going to go angle, triangle ABC, and you're going to go BDC. So BDC is 6x minus 6. Okay, and then so to solve that, you go 6x minus 6 equals 90. Because an altitude intersects and makes a perpendicular angle. All right, for this next one, so solve this. And triangle ABCDE is a perpendicular bisector. So perpendicular means it's going to form a right angle. And then it also means this side is congruent to this side for perpendicular bisector. Okay, so now that we know AD is 2y plus 4. Oops, sorry. There's my main screen. You're welcome. And we know that CD is y plus 12. And measure of angle EDC is 90. That's going to be 5x minus 60. All right, so let's go ahead, let's figure out what x is first, and we can do that, or y. It said y and then x. So let's figure out what x is first, which is this guy, okay? So we're going to get 5x minus 60 equals 90, because that is a 90-degree angle right here. All right, and then go ahead, add 60. Divide by 5. All right, now that we know that, now we can go ahead and we can figure out equation for y. So y is going to be equal to each other. These are both equal. So you're going to write 2y plus 4 equals y plus 12. And if you did this correctly, y should equal 8. So that cancels, that cancels. There you go. All right, and then MR is the angle bisector. So bisector means this angle is going to be congruent to that angle. And you're going to find the measure of angle 1. And this is angle 1 right here. If angle 1, oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. You're going to find x if the measure of angle 1, so this guy, is 5x plus 8. And angle 2, which is this guy, is 8x minus 16. So solve for x first, then determine the measure of the angle in MP, which is total. All right, so you're going to finish this on your own. And then that is how you find special segments. So remember, this vocab, write it down, make sure you understand the terms, which one bisects, which gives you equal for the midpoint. This one creates a 90-degree angle. This one creates a 90-degree angle. with congruent sides or midpoint, and then here equal angles.